Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man v Film, and this is going to be a top 10 list of movies you can watch right now on Netflix for the month of June 2020. Number 10, Den of Thieves. In LA, a team of robbers make a violent armed attack and hijack an armoured truck. Police officers arrive on the scene and engage in a shootout with the robbers. Detective Nick O'Brien investigates the crime scene and discovers that they're planning to rob again, this time removing about 300 million in old bills from the Federal Reserve. Gerard Butler stars in this action mystery heist movie, but this time rather than being on the bad guys bandwagon as we watch them try to outsmart the cops, we're with the cops who tend to act a lot like the bad guys. They beat up individuals, they do things for their own ill-gotten gain, they're not very good in their home lives, they're kind of despicable in their own mind, but they're good at one thing: stopping robbers. And we have a cat and mouse game which is really quite good. It's got some interesting action set pieces and it's one of those really fun time killers. Number 9, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. He's the best there is. In fact, he's the only one there is. He's Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Ace is on the case to find the Miami Dolphins' missing mascot and quarterback Dan Marino. He goes eyeball to eyeball with a man-eating shark, stakes out the Miami Dolphins and woos and wows the ladies. Whether he's undercover, under fire or underwater, he always gets his man or beast. Jim Carrey burst onto the scene in the early 90s with a few roles. This was one of his calling cards straight off the bat. Ace Ventura was a larger-than-life character. Within this straight-set mystery movie was this outlandish performance from Carrey, and going back to it now, this in my memory was more of a kind of kids movie, but some of the stuff in this is rather edgy, rather unusual, and it was still riotously funny as well. If it's something that you haven't thought about in years or you've never seen, it is well worth checking out once more. Number 8, Sleepless. In LA, 2 policemen rob a shipment of cocaine belonging to entrepreneur Stanley Rubino and plan on selling it to a rival. They volunteer to investigate the robbery in order to cover up their involvement, clashing with Infernal Affairs investigators who are suspicious of their involvement. Sleepless stars Jamie Foxx, and it's one of those movies that I really like because of the idea behind it. One person set over a few hours trying to deal with this trauma that's going on in their life, as well as all these things that they've done that are coming back to haunt them, all within this confined period of time. And you get Jamie Foxx, who is involved with some absolutely wonderful fight sequences, very reminiscent of The Raid and its sequel, but if you haven't seen them, you'll probably find this rather original. If not, it's a 90-minute thriller that's just non-stop action, good story, good action, and just entertaining. Number 7, The WILLOUGHBYS. Convinced they'd be better off raising themselves, the Willoughby children hatch a sneaky plan to send their selfish parents on vacation. The siblings then embark on their own high-flying adventure to find the true meaning of family. I'm not the greatest animation fan, so for one to win me over, it has to be a pretty good movie, and The WILLOUGHBYS was something that I was really interested in. From the odd and strange design of the family to their idiosyncrasies, they're all extremely fun, they all have their own identity, and the adventure they go on is rather thrilling. I loved the side story of the parents doing crazy adventures around the world, and this heartwarming tale of a family coming together to become a family once more is just unbelievably fantastic. Kids loved it, I loved it, I'm going to recommend it to you guys. Number 6, Romeo Must Die. In this modern day Romeo and Juliet, kung fu action star Jet Li plays Romeo to hip hop singer Alia's Juliet. Lee is an ex-cop investigating the murder of his brother, who has ties with the Chinese mafia. Alia plays the daughter of an American mob boss. Neither side approves of their romance, so obviously kung fu action ensues. This is Romeo and Juliet as you've never seen it before, because there is a hail of bullets and a lot of kung fu action, and it's all fantastic. If you know the rough story of Romeo and Juliet, you know what you're going to get yourself into. They tie it up with mob bosses as well, and it becomes a little bit tropey on certain aspects. But Jet Li and Alia are fantastic together. The action is amazing, as you expect. A spate of movies came out in the early 2000s of Jet Li doing American movies, and they were all wonderfully entertaining, and this is probably the pinnacle for me. Number 5, Lockout. Set in the near future, a falsely convicted ex-government agent has one chance to obtain freedom. He must undertake a dangerous mission to rescue the president's daughter from rioting convicts at an outer space maximum security prison. Guy Pearce is the ex-government agent who's tasked with going to this space prison to it seems silly just saying that, to get the president's daughter and return her safely. It is extremely like Escape from New York, but Guy Pearce is absolutely wonderful as the wisecracking, just doesn't care, anti-establishment employee. It is just wonderful. He is just will not bow to the president's daughter. He is slanderous of everyone he comes across. He's quick-witted, rude, but above all, he can do the job. He can handle himself, and he does so fantastically well. This is one of those movies that nobody talks about. It's a great action set piece. It's just wonderful from start to finish, and highly recommended. Number 4, Black Sea. After a decade of hard work at a marine salvage company, the recently redundant submarine captain Robinson decides to risk everything in search of fabled underwater treasure. A sunken Nazi U-boat laden with gold ingots, bent on unearthing the unclaimed prize under the nose of the Russians and their hostile naval fleet, Robinson assembles a hand-picked mixture of crew of antagonistic experts to comb the vast seabed of the cold Black Sea and a rusty Soviet sub. This is right in my wheelhouse. I really do have a kind of fascination with submarine movies and treasure hunter movies, and this kind of mixes them together. You get the ragtag group of people who really don't mix too well, put in a confined space searching for gold. The only thing is they're all on equal shares, so if people start to die off, then that means the share's going to get bigger, and before they even find the gold, things start to go that way. It's a kind of good thriller, interesting enough. Jude Law plays Robinson in a wonderful role, and it's one of those movies that not a lot of people have heard of, but it really is worth checking out. Number 3, Time Trap. A group of students venture into the deep caves of remote Texas to locate a favourite archaeological professor who inexplicably has gone missing while researching the Fountain of Youth. In the course of their pursuit, the group unwittingly rappels into a break in the space-time continuum, where time passes much slower than on the surface. With no hope for rescue, they descend further into the cave and uncover the most coveted urban legend in history, and find themselves in the crossfire for its control. Time Trap is one of these movies where I liked 99% of it. It was just the kind of last shot that I wasn't 100% certain with, but I really like the energy behind this time travelling adventure as people just go hunting for a missing professor and get locked within this weird time trap that really revolves around a constant loop of time almost, and the way it plays with that, I'm trying to tell you without spoiling it, it's quite inventive. It adds in some really fresh and interesting takes, has some nice shocks and twists and turns, and is ultimately a pretty good movie. I'm just not 100% sold on that ending. Number 2, 5 Element Ninjas. A young martial artist seeks revenge on the ninjas who killed his martial arts brothers and teacher. He finds help in the form of a new teacher who knows ninjutsu and new brothers. Together, the 4 pupils face the 5 Element Ninja Challenge: wood, earth, gold, water and fire. From the Shaw Brothers comes 5 Elements Ninjas, and it is wonderfully over the top, a little bit campy, a little bit strange, with fantastic production values. The action is literally non-stop from the start of this movie. It is violent, it is over the top, it is incredibly fun and highly entertaining. If this is the kind of thing that you would have gave a wide berth, give it a try. I think you're going to find something here that is just really enjoyable and will open doors to a flood of fantastic Shaw Brothers movies. Number 1, United 93. On September 11th, 2001, 2 American Airlines and 2 United Airlines domestic US flights are hijacked by terrorists after the collision of 2 planes against the World Trade Center and 1 against the Pentagon. The passengers and crew of United Flight 93 decide to struggle against the 4 terrorists to take back control of the aeroplane. United 93 came out at a time where everybody was still a little bit raw about the events of 9/11, but looking back at this movie, it is just wonderfully set up by and directed by Paul Greengrass, taking a lot of unnecessary risks with this storyline. He really does create a tale about the human existence dealing with a weird situation and trying to overcome while rationalising everything. We as the viewer ultimately know where this is going to end, but that doesn't stop you from rallying behind these characters, hoping every time I watch it that they are going to win out to that final scene which just hits a resounding blow. This is a highly effective and truly remarkable movie, one that I feel is starting to get the praise it really deserves, and something that if you shied away from or you had never checked out before, then I think you must see this movie. So there we have it, 10 fantastic movies for you to check out this month. I hope you find something that you're really going to enjoy. If you've missed something out or something I should have had on my list, let me know in the comment box, and I will see you next time on Man v Film.